most people are familiar with this guy. This is the Tube Ultra Gain MIC200 vacuum preamp from Behringer. There's two kinds. There's the MIC100 or the MIC200. The MIC100, the difference is it doesn't have these kind of presets. But basically it's a very affordable vacuum tube preamp, both with phantom power. All of them have 20 dB pad, 48 volt phantom power, a low cut filter and a phase reverse. These guys, this one goes for around 40 pounds, and the MIC100 goes for about 31 pounds. I don't think you need the one with the modeling preamp. I really don't think so, because I've tried majority of these presets, the limiter and the kind of preamp modes for bass and guitar and all that kind of stuff. I don't think they're nice at all. I think the only one that's really usable is the neutral one and the valve one, which I'm assuming is just kind of like as is and no modeling going on. So this thing works on basically 9 volts. No, not 9 volts, I think it's a bit more than 9 volts, but doesn't matter, it comes with its own power supply. Now the reason is I'm not doing a review on this thing just now. We'll do one later on, because I think for the price it's a insanely good investment. But what I'm actually intending on doing with this guy today for you is actually if you have a mainly kind of diode signal path and you don't have a valve amp, you can actually bring a little bit of the valve tone back into your guitar signal by putting this guy into the signal itself. So the way I'm going to put this into the signal is actually by putting it just before the Joyo Califronia, which is the MESA Boogie kind of amp simulator pedal. So the signal path would be signal path is, where's my lovely thing? The signal path will be pedals, drive, then the tube amp, and then the California, and then into the effects return. The reason I'm doing that is because I want the drive pedals to drive the 12EX tube that's in here. What are they called? Where is it? I can't remember. Anyway, I want the drive pedals to drive this, and then this to go into the amp simulator, so that it's the valve that gets driven before it actually goes into the amp simulator. This way, that's pretty normal. If you've got pedals in your valve amp going into the front of the valve amp, you will be driving the first set of vacuum tubes, and then later on only you'll be getting to driving the power tube. So this is the same idea. This goes this is between the drive and the amp simulator, so that means that if I'm putting my overdrive and distortion pedals on, I'm actually driving the tube here to get that sparkle. So the tone differences are very subtle, and I think one of the reasons is because the Joyo Califronia actually does a half decent job at pretending to be some sort of MESA Boogie head. It isn't a 2,000 pound MESA Boogie head, but it tries to simulate that. But with this in front, it brings a little bit of that kind of top end kind of sparkle and warmness back into the signal. I think it does a half a decent job, and I think it's actually pretty usable in this set. Again, this is obviously a hack. This is not supposed to be a substitute for the real thing in any shape or form. So what I'm going to do is we are going to do a couple of chords and a couple of wee thingies without this guy and then with this guy. So let me just quickly plug everything in without the MIC200 in the signal. 1 second. So there's no need for anything to warm up. That is now without the vacuum tube in between. This is my cleanest signal I can get. No reverb, no nothing, no EQ, no nothing. Straight into the mic, straight into the effects return, 12 inch speaker, and mic'd up. Bit of drive. Now is I'm going to put this guy in the chain. Excuse me, I'm quickly going to switch that off so we have no popping going on. 12AX7, isn't it? That's what they're called. So it's a bit unfair, the signal is a bit louder now, obviously. The wonderful thing about this is now, so as you can see, guitar goes in there, it goes through the drive pedals, then into the mic preamp, and then back into the chain. Now I'm not using the boost because realistically the boost should have been in front of this guy as well, but we are now driving the 12AX7, sorry I don't know anymore, and that is then driving the Joyo and then straight into the effect return here. So with no further ado, let's see if we have a bit of a difference in signal. So just to show you a bit more of this guy, there is the gain input, there is the 12 dB pad, the phantom power switch, low cut filter, phase reverse. So it's actually quite a useful preamp, and it has a nice home sound. There's the different things you can choose, so valve, vocal, guitar, keyboard, bass. I've had it on guitar, I've had it on all the others, and the only ones I think are half useful is the valve and the neutral. The other ones don't work. The limiter doesn't work either. Not for my ears anyway, you might feel differently. And these are the settings that I come up on. So a bit of gain, a bit of output, and let's see what it sounds like. So immediately that top end sparkle is back. Drive it. So immediately that warmth at the top is back. So for my money worth, I think that is a really nice solution to get a bit of a valve warmth back into your signal if all your pedals are pretty much, and your amp and everything is a kind of diode based thing. So all in all, you know, bringing in a valve sound, a true valve back into your signal path for £40, cheapest chips, $40-ish I suppose in the States, which would make it cheap as fries, I guess, is not too much to do. And also I will be doing a demo of this guy later on. It's actually obviously meant for microphones and the likes, and it is a really good microphone preamp, a very nice warming kind of vacuum tube microphone preamp. Again, this is not a Neve preamp, so don't think you're buying a, some sort of multi-million-dollar preamp for £40. It is a very, very good one, I think so. And as everybody knows, Behringer has this kind of reputation for selling crap, as you like. Some of the stuff works well. Their preamps are good. These things have got good reviews both on Amazon. Most of their preamp stuff is actually half decent. And again, if you do buy a DUD, it's as simple as exchanging it. So you might get a DUD here and there, but at the same time, you can get something really cost effective. And more importantly, you can exchange it if it really doesn't work. But if it works really well. Let's do some outro.